My name is Naima. If you are new here, I am the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where we help women grow up and become unapologetic women who design their lives on true desires terms. And I am all about the good that is available, always available. And my specialty is working particularly with women who have always been bright lights. You have always been different. You never fit in. You were the strange one, the weird one. Perhaps you were literally diagnosed as gifted. Your friends and family have called you bougie. Been like, who do you think you are? What do you think you're better than us? You have excelled in the normal world. You've excelled in school. You've excelled in your business, assuming you're an entrepreneur. But you have easily excelled because you do have superior genetics. You have always thought very different than normal people. You are truly highly spiritual. It's not because you read a bunch of books or because now it's trending online to be a spiritual person. Your natural way of thinking, being, relating, feeling, breathing is truly of a high order. And because those around you who are not of this sustenance, of this essence, have called you bougie, told you doing too much, you want too much, who do you think you are? You need to calm your ass down. It ain't that much. You want too much. Don't nobody need all that. And you have internalized quite a bit of that. And as a result, you have made yourself small to make other people feel comfortable with your natural, big, abundant brightness. And now you become sick. You become angry. You're ready to kill and destroy because you're mad that you let small fucks cause you to become small. Now you're not living in the house or apartment you really want to live in. Now your money is funny. Now you're not as sexually alive as you know you can be and want to be. You don't keep yourself together the way you know you can because you've taken on the energy, the thoughts, the feelings, the blood consciousness of small motherfuckers. And now you're ready to wake it up. Now you're ready to stand unapologetically in who you always were. You're not making up nothing. You're not trying to make yourself better than nobody. You're returning to who you always were. Who you were at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old when you knew who you were and you said who you were and you lived like who you were. But now you're 38, 48, 58, and you've been acting like a little peon ass minion. And you ready to wake up in abundance and get your ass to Monaco, well paid, easily making money, traveling around the world, helping other people, open heart, shining unapologetically, able to move into any room and handle the lovers and the haters with ease. You don't need to snap at nobody. You don't need to pay petty unless you want to for shits and giggles. But you true to the motherfucker, and you know it, and other motherfuckers know it, and that alone is your protection. That's who the fuck I'm here for today. What? See, I talk like this cause I could back it up. That's who you are, yes or no? Cause if you ain't, you just gonna sit around here for the crumbs. The rest of y'all's ready to rock and motherfucking roll. Bitch, I'm not playing. What? See, cause when you take on other people's thoughts and play small the way I was guilty of once upon a time, and your ass gets sick and tired enough. See, because you really don't do nothing until you get sick and fucking tired. You got to get real sick, real tired. You got to be on the verge of killing the motherfucker. And sometimes the motherfucker you on the verge of killing is yourself. And then once you hit rock bottom, as I talked about the other day, then somehow you get the fire to get your ass up and walk around this planet Earth as the giant you are. You in Italy as the giant you are. You in the south of France as the giant you are. You in the global south as the giant you are. And you can handle ugly from people. And you can really see it because you reconcile the ugly in yourself. Do we want to do it or no? Or you just want to watch? You can do that too. Is it high time or not? Only you can decide when it's time. Hello! I'd like to share for those of you who are new here, if you would like for me to consider responding to your comment, you need to have a profile photo. So today's topic is about working together one-on-one. Let me start with this. First of all, this is about transformation. When I'm talking about you potentially working one-on-one with me, that means it is you and I working together to focus on you transforming from where you are today, right now, as who you are, into the big, abundant, vocal, unapologetic being that you're going for. That's what this is about, okay? The investment is from $10,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on, is it you and your team? Who are we talking about? How long are we talking about? All that. So this, if you are, you want some DIY activity, there are links in my bio for products for you to buy. If you just want like a how-to situation, go to my wall. There's a bounty of content there. I have a YouTube channel with hundreds of videos there on all kinds of things, even on building a business, because I am a former business coach. I actually crossed 7 figures for the first time in 2017 as a business coach. So if you go up to my bio on TikTok, there's a YouTube icon. You can go back to 2016, 17, 2015, and you will see videos on how to build an online business and cross 6 figures, 7 figures, if you want just how-to tips and tricks and shit. However, if you are here for the deep transformation, where you change at the deepest levels that give you lasting change, and you require high level. You require high level. You're not interested in being in a group with a bunch of people. You're not interested in this, these low level, cheaper opportunities that people buy because they're not ready for the full Monty. You know who you are. You know you've been playing small. You know you've already invested in a lot of cheap offers, so you know what comes with cheap offers. You're experienced with that. And you know that it's going to require top dollar, your full commitment, and your full attention, the same way you would want somebody to be fully committed to some transformation with you. That's what I'm here for today. Okay? And so this is also a replay. So shout out YouTube, you're not here yet, but hello if you're watching this as a replay on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, the email to email me, well, first of all, the link to the application is going to be in the description of this video. I'm saying this right now, talking to replay viewers on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, which will be a replay, the application for you to complete is in the description of this video. Okay? If you're watching on TikTok, hello TikTok, you go to the link in my bio, click it. There are 6 options. At the bottom is the application for you to complete to be considered for you and I to work one-on-one together for your transformation. Okay, let's see. Is there anything here worth responding to? So I'll go here for my 38 viewers. Hello. I first started publishing content online in 2011 and I was terrified. My first video went up on, I think it was May 7th, 2011. I have 2 YouTube channels. That was an older channel. My current channel, the one that's linked to this profile, has, I think, over 400 videos, I think. The other one has dozens. I don't even remember how many. When I first started creating content, I was terrified, and all I had was my will. The way you all can look at a bunch of people online all the time and just scroll and scroll and scroll, that was not a thing in 2011. There was no black woman around that I knew of who was doing shame work, power work, shadow work. None, zero, zilch. It was not a thing. TikTok was not around. Instagram was big. I don't even know if Instagram was around, because the only thing I was on in 2011 was Facebook, and then decided to get on YouTube. Why am I sharing this? Because I know what it actually takes to become. The level of will that it took. Because there was no external motivator. How y'all grab at all these crumbs on the internet for inspiration, and I needed that word today, sis. And constantly looking for something outside of yourself to give you something. It's inside. That's the first part. Second part, I've always been the different black girl. Any of y'all relate? Any of y'all related to, what's her name? Awkward black girl? Issa Rae? Anybody here identify with being the awkward black girl? This is what I mean by awkward. So it's not awkward to me, it's awkward to other people. To me, it's bright ass lights. Just bright light. We are in this world and not of it. You don't even think like these people think around here. You don't see family the way they see it. You don't see love the way they see it. You don't see life the way they see it. Your thinking is completely oriented in the rightness of things. And I don't mean in the human mortal thinking of right and wrong, but you see that, even that right there? You're highly spiritual, very naturally, okay? How many of you have been highly sexual and you repressed it because they called you fast? Oh, you ain't gonna get no husband. What is, anybody here? And you pushed it down? You were on display once upon a time, but you didn't know how to deal with being sexually activated, and boys was all in your face, men was all in your face when you were 17, 18. Maybe you got raped, maybe you got assaulted, etc. And so then you toned it down, and now you don't know how to bring it back out because the scars of that trauma got you like this. When you were a teenager, even in your 20s, girlfriends that you had at the time who didn't really see you and know you anyway, but you wanted friends, so you played along to get along. And they would say things that reminded you, that showed you how different you were from them. And your experience constantly showed you how different you were here in this place. Anybody here? See, nobody, still there's nobody on the internet even talking like this. And I'm fucking amazed. I've been on this fuck for 12 fucking years. And you mean to tell me all of these black women walking around planet Earth and no other motherfucker is out here loud, unapologetic, willing to reconcile their fear of death, fear of rape, fear of being kidnapped? Nobody has been driven enough to come out and be abundant and be seen in their... Nobody? All these loud, bad bitches on the internet. Where's your sameness at? Like, who's telling your story? Am I making sense or no? Am I off the mark here? Because maybe today ain't it. All of these laid, bad bitches, body, yaddy, 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 beat face, hair laid, got all the everythings. And we have this, don't get me wrong, but are we dealing with our souls before we go? Are we doing our purpose work, the thing that brings us alive, that makes every day euphoric, even a bad day? Is that important? Where is the spiritual broads who in Monaco? Like true spiritual, not like who black and look black. How about that? Like me, like you. You walk into a space any space, literally around the world, and move the room, because you don't need to hide anymore. You've transformed. You don't need to like play nice unless it's a strategic move. You don't need to hide who you are. You command. You let people know you're not going to be here unless you're on point. And you're not afraid to tell people that. Somebody tries to act like you're on the same level, and you know you're not on the same level, and this is not even I'm better than you, but you know when somebody's not on your level. And how many of you are going to tell somebody, but you're not on my level? From a really, not a mean place. It's not because I want to be better than you, but it is true that we are not on the same level. There's a level of admission, truth, and authenticity that I live at that you know you're not living at. That means we're not on the same level. Am I making sense? So do you know what you're able, am I making sense? So when you truly live like that and you're building a business, you're moving around the world, what do you think you're going to manifest, attract, do, create? And is that important to you? Is that of the utmost importance to you? Meaning it's life or death. Like the next, let's not even talk about far, far future. Let's just talk about by Christmas time this year. Like, how important to you is it that between today and Christmas time this year, that the you that lets people know who you are, where you stand, you say it out of your mouth, you're not scared, and thereby you start making decisions that's, okay, I want these people in my life, I want to live like this is the standard, this is where I'm going to do it, and you're willing to do that, and that alone is the transformation that totally orients your life to set you up for the abundance that you keep saying you want. But the reason you don't have the abundance is your nervous system can't handle how are people going to respond to this. These relationships that have kept you comfortable are going to no longer exist. There will be a vacuum in a space, and that you will be required to hold the standard, then call in the people that you say you want to be friends with, who are also bad bitches, who are also abundant, who are also traveling every quarter and traveling well, not traveling cheap because I ain't got it. Who are honest, even when it's uncomfortable. Who you can sit in shadow with. We can be having a glass of rosé in Saint Tropez, having authentic conversations. You know I'm with you, you with me. There's conversation going on, and there's no words being exchanged. Like, where is your story on the internet? Is it worth sharing? Is it necessary to share to sell your products and services? Or is it not? Or is it just a series you want to share to help free other women, men, children, business owners, single mothers, healers? I'm really, and then even today, like, have I not yet gotten the gravity of the necessity of my work, of what's going on? So when I first came into the industry, like I told you, I didn't even know there was a such thing as coaching and transformation and healing. I didn't know this was something you could do to actually help people and make money. All I had was maybe how many of you had once upon a time. You just want to help people. For those of you who are, I'm 45. So for those of you who are over 40, before you knew about coaching, right? And you just wanted to help people. You didn't even think about the money part. Like me, I didn't even think about the money part. I just wanted to help people. Which, when you come into the business of it, that becomes a liability because you're not thinking about the money and you're so busy just focusing on helping people, what ends up happening is you do end up helping people and you end up being poor because you're so busy just helping, and you're not thinking about it from a business perspective and the money part that helps it work. So when I came into the industry, I found out about coaching through a freckled-faced, redhead white girl named Katie Freiling in San Diego. And I was in this community called Tribal Truth in San Francisco. And the leader of that group emailed us all a link to Katie Freiling's video series. Now, this is in 2011. We're talking 13 years ago. 13 years ago, for any woman to have a video series professionally done on the internet, you were a rock star. See, today everybody creating content, so it's no big deal. In 2011, 13 years ago, and professionally done, it's not her with her smartphone putting together a TikTok video. It's her getting in and out of a car. It's all professionally done. And I'm like, what? Wow, this is amazing. And she's talking about the whole game of cashing in on you. Now, keep in mind, at the time, I don't even know that coaching exists as an industry. So she's talking, and I'm just like, what? Huh? I'm blown away. Blown away. So I signed up for this video series. I watched the whole thing. Back in the day, that's how they used to do. You would sign up and they would drop one video on you, and then the next day they would drop the next video on you, and then the next day they would drop a third video on you. And depending on how many videos was in the series, sometimes it was 3, sometimes it was 6. It just really depended, right? But I think hers had 3 videos. So third video, and then on the 4th day, she sold us this program for $997 called Cash In On You. I'm just besides myself, because I'm just like, first of all, it felt bold. Wait a minute, you selling me this? What? Wait, so you telling me that I can come on the internet and share my story and it helps people and like it works like this in some kind of a way and I can make money? Now today that seems like no big deal because everybody is doing it. But in my world in 2011, I knew nobody doing this. I didn't know this existed. So back then, and they still do some kind of version of this today, it's just done different. But back then it was like, okay, so here is the solution if you want to be able to cash in on you in the way that I've talked about in these videos over the last 3-4 days. Here's the product that's going to help you do this, right? So first of all, I'm all besides myself that she's offering me this, and oh my God. So here's an invitation in front of me. Am I going to say yes to this? I don't know. All of that is going on. So I'm fretting. So I'm getting the emails. So here comes the email that says, here it is, doors close in 3 days. We're going to have a Q&A today at 4 o'clock, right? So I show up for the Q&A. People are asking questions. It's always going. I'm just like, oh my God, this is wild. Oh my God, right? Doors close in 2 days. I'm not going, I really want to get it, but what? Really? Wait, hold on. But I don't have, she got all, I don't have, one more day, doors close in 1 day. I want to, but oh my God, I just gonna go, right? The whole thing, right? Then it comes where like doors close in 1 hour. So at the time, I was living in Richmond Hills. So Richmond Hills is about 20 minutes outside of San Francisco. And I was living in an in-law. So there was the main house and they had an in-law and I lived in the in-law downstairs. And I remember so clearly, it was like studio. So like everything is here, you know, bed, and there's the divider that divided the living room from the bed. And I remember laying on that couch just like a baby in the fetal position, like so wanting to do it. I was nauseous. Oh, for those of you who have bought programs and you felt something similar, you know what I'm talking about, right? I was just like, oh my God. And it's like, I want to say yes and I can't say no. And oh my God, right? Now, you know when you are manifesting or the student is ready and all this. Now, before I found out about Katie and was in this video series, all I wanted to do was help people. I didn't know the industry, and I was creating content, okay? So I had already started creating videos on YouTube. This is already happening, so I'm already in the flow of it. And here this thing is. So I say yes to this $997 offer, $997, and I do a payment plan. Okay, so I come into her program, I start learning, etc., and I end up creating my own version of telling my story, monetizing my solution, my story, how I can help people, etc. That was like November-ish of 2011. And I offered a small group. Now, keep in mind, this is the first time I'm ever selling anything online. Like, I'm new to this entirely. I sell this small coaching package based on how they counseled me to do it and what am I offering and all the details. I offered a small group coaching program that 3 people signed up for. Out of those 3 people, this one woman from Romania, we're still connected on Facebook today. After that, when we were toward the end of that group coaching program coming together, she was like, Naima, I would love to learn how you did that video thing. Like, how do you talk like that? Like, how do you show up on camera like that? I want to do that. And How do I work with you to do that? And so out of those 3, she was one of the 3. And she and I ended up working one-on-one together. And one thing that stands out, because there's 2 points I want to make with telling you this story. The first point I want to make is a wealthy mind and what it actually takes to transform over time so that you have a sustainably wealthy mind, so that you have lasting change. A lot of what I see on TikTok or just all over the internet is stuff to get you a quick hit, right? And I get it, because what they want to do is they want to give you a dopamine hit of some kind of quick win, because then you'll keep coming back for more. So I'm not even saying that's a bad idea, right? Like, if it works for you, keep doing it. And I'm talking about lasting change. I'm talking about where the time that it took between, let's say, 9 years old, you being 9 years old, to where you are today, and the neurotransmitters you've created in your mind to normalize your scarcity, to normalize your lack, for you to exist in smallness for as long as you have lived in it. I can't afford it. Well, maybe not now. Walking around with doubt, letting yourself be overweight, all the stuff. I already know what it looks like and sounds like. I've been guilty of it. My clients have been guilty of it. So the work that it actually takes to return you back to a sustainably wealthy mind is this transformation that we're talking about. And I did not know, and I didn't know that I didn't know when this particular situation happened. So what happened was, as I told you, she wanted to work with me one-on-one. Now, I hadn't even thought about converting anybody in that small group into a private client. So there is one like ding, 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 ding. My mind is not even thinking in that way, and I don't even know that I'm not thinking in this wealthy way. Are you guilty of the same thing? You don't even see, and you wouldn't be able to answer this unless you've had this experience, but you don't even see where you're in scarce thinking, because it's just the way you've been living for so long, which is not even your natural way. It's just the way you picked up, because people started being like, you want too much, we can't afford that. Well, that you don't need all that. Just get that. That's enough. Okay? And so she's like, Naima, I want to do that. How did you create those videos? And I didn't even have professional videos. I used my camera that was on my laptop. It wasn't even fancy the way Katie did it. I just used what I had and basically followed her structure as far as messaging and just used what I had. Okay? She's like, Naima, how do I do that? How do I show up? And we're on the phone, and I'm just like, well, I can show you. I didn't even have a package. I didn't plan for this. I was like, well, I can show you exactly what I did. And she's like, well, how do you do that? And we're on the phone, and I was just like, well, I can show you. Do you want to work together? She's like, yeah. Well, how much would that cost? And right there on the phone, I made up the package. I was like, well, we could work together for, I think it was like 3 months we worked together. I was like, well, we could work together for 3 months, and I don't even remember what the price was. And I was like, and it's going to be whatever the amount was. It was over $1,000. I know that much. It was over $1,000. And And I was like, yeah, and you can put that into, you can split up payments. See, because in my scarce mind, I'm thinking that's a lot of money for somebody to pay. No, nobody's going to pay that amount in one lump sum because I'm the payment plan girl. So let me give, policing other people's wallets. So let me give her, yeah, see. And I said, yes, you can do payments. You don't have to pay it all. She was like, can I just pay it all with my American Express? Like, she was bringing wealth consciousness into my world and didn't even know it. How many of you don't even know? This is what I mean by true lasting transformation is a process and it is work. And most of us do not make it over time, particularly when you are of the essence that I'm talking about, which is why I said earlier, many of you will be here just to grab whatever crumbs you can grab, to be inspired, to take a nugget, an idea, a gem, and that's fine. The woman who I'm talking about needs to be supported in a real coaching, mentoring relationship. Because again, I'm not talking about average women. This is not a dig. If you know, you know. Okay? So this is not average women who want average things, who are satisfied with average things, who want what normal people want. This is for those of us who have always felt like we were meant to steward humanity. Those of us who have always been large. Those of us who have always been big energy. Those of us who have always known that we are grand. We are meant to be grand, have grand in all ways. And we didn't know the level of power and responsibility that would require. The level of power and responsibility that is required, the level of standard and boundary that is required, the level of self-possession that is required to be able to walk around here in your life and deal with all the normal people who have no real understanding of who you are, what you are. They cannot relate, no matter how much they look at you in awe, no matter how much they look at you with inspiration, no matter how much they look at you with disdain and hate. And so many of us have yet to either be willing to meet the model who can support them in coming into their actual grandness, because there's a lot of darkness that's required to be traversed. That's why I'm here. So when I talk about reconciling your fear of death, I mean it. When I talk about reconciling your fear of being killed, persecuted, murdered, raped, I mean that. Normal girls are not thinking about this. They have no, what, girl? This is my point. So this is who I'm here for. So the 2 points to complete the thought. One is about the work that's required to have a sustainably wealthy mind. This is why I'm sharing the story about this woman who became a private client in 2011. One, what's required to have a sustainably wealthy mind and not just an extra $500 this month, just to have enough money to do big Christmas shopping for my kids come Christmas. I just want to buy this house, girl. That's all. I just want to buy this house. Bitch, we want to be rich at 80, bitch. You hear me? We talking about wealth to pay off our parents' houses, to be able to live around the world. When I say you are meant to be grand, I mean, so what does it take for you to live grand and not just talk about living grand? Not just want to live grand. I know I'm meant to, but your everyday life is you just wasting time on TikTok. You don't mean it. Because if we look at the last 30 days of your life and look at where your time and your money has gone, it has gone toward nothing. So that's, you see the distinction? When you mean it, you get around grand people. You are required. You require yourself. So if you are ready for this level of transformation and to work with me and this level of embodiment, go to the link in my bio and complete the application. Again, the investment starts at $10,000 and goes up to $100,000 or more. If you're not ready for that level of investment, if you're not sure I'm the one for you, it's not for you. Don't fill out the application. Buy one of my digital products, check out all the free content on the wall, find your clarity there. So one, that's why I tell that story about sustainably wealthy mind. The number two is the unleashing your voice and coming out of hiding. Unleashing your voice and coming out of hiding. What's going to happen? Answer this now, and you can even put it in the chat. What's going to happen in your life when you actually start saying what you mean to people? Imagine you embodied at your grand level. Here's an example. I had a woman who bought Shadow Gold. For those of you who are familiar with Shadow Gold, this woman is very successful. She's a multimillionaire. She has, internationally traveled, PhD. This is a woman who has all the material things that represent success. Okay? She bought Shadow Gold. We had a conversation about partnering, but not partnering as like business partners. It was more so of she being in a support role. And as she was talking to me as if we were energetic equals. She's like, yeah, we can, I won't get into the details of the conversation, but she was talking to me as if we were energetic equals. And like I said earlier, for those of you who were here in the beginning, I said, when you know that you're at a level of authenticity, and authenticity cannot be faked. Everybody knows it and feels it. You cannot fake authenticity. When you're at a level of authenticity where you're willing to risk it all, where you don't care about losing or gaining. You're not trying to get approval. You're not trying to please. You're not trying to sound nice or smart or ordered or measured or to appear a certain way. Your shit is clean. You know it and everybody else knows it. Anybody else who try to act like they don't know, leave them where they at. So when people come into your orbit, and they try to act like you're equals, they know what they're doing and you know. But when you really get to that level, you are compassionate, period. It's authentic compassion too. You're not trying to, I know I need to be compassionate because girl, these motherfuckers. You've been there. So you know what's going on. And you're truly in service. And you've worked to expand your heart. So it's like, I get it, right? So she's talking to me like we're equal. And she's just like, and I just said to her, but we're not on the same level. You're not on my level. And that pause of, I know. She didn't say I know, but we felt it in the space. I know. What's going to happen when you do that? You ready for that? You ready to do these kind of videos wherever you're online, Instagram, YouTube? Are you ready? Is it required for your abundance? Is this level of authenticity required for your 6-figure, 7-figure career? Is it required for your soul? Is it required for your freedom? Yes or no? No, it's not really required. I don't need to do all that. Girl, I need to keep this job, girl. There's no such thing as too raw. There's no such thing as too raw. Is it required or no? I got more time. I don't need to do that right now. It's lonely. My mom's not gonna like it. Is it required? It's your call. Is it required? My husband's not gonna want me. That marriage is not gonna work. Not with me in that kind of power. So I'm gonna trade the truth of who I am for this marriage. Is it required? I'd like to respond today. Day said mine is the opposite. They see me coming and I feel like I am on their level, then they stifle me. So just sit with that. Sit with that. I'm going to say it back to you and I want you to sit with that. Like really relax, truly. I mean this, truly. Sit and relax. I'm going to read this to you. Mine is the opposite. They see me coming and I feel like I am on their level, then they stifle me. What do you feel in there? What do you hear? I am on their level, then they stifle me. And I feel I am on their level. There's just so much information in there. This is why people need mentors. Y'all know about blind spots, right? For those of you who are working with clients, they come to you with their blind spot, right? You have them too. And when you are the woman who I've described, you need a master. Only master can see a master. So what did you pick up, Day? That it's me. There you go. Every single time. Every single time. Let me add to this. So on the one hand, you said, I feel like I am on their level. You feel like, or you know you are? Okay. So for the woman who I'm talking to and you know who you are, your language matters. You know that. And when deep down you doubt, you'll use language like this. In your conscious mind, you got this big attitude. Cause I know who I am. I know who I am up here. But in your unconscious mind, it's riddled with doubt and insecurity. And if you're not dealing in your unconscious mind, if you're not dealing in the dark, the shame, the forbidden, the taboo of you, you will remain weak. You will never come into sustainable wealth. Never. You'll make money. You'll travel. You'll do all the things that like the safe to have. It's safe to travel and to want a house, and that's safe. You're not gonna get too much pushback on that. But you want to rule? You want a house on every continent? Or whatever the thing is that's forbidden for you, that's taboo, that's when you are the woman who I'm talking to. And even if you're not, right? It's just what's on the line for you versus normal people. What's on the line as far as your mind, your soul, that's between you and you. You need to deal in the darkness of you. That's why Shadow Gold exists. That's why my Heal Your Witch Wound exists. And this is why I'm open to working one-on-one at a high level with the women who require it. And that goes to the standard she has for herself. So the other thing that I saw, in addition to this whole language thing, is I feel I am versus I am on their level. And you said they stifle me. So I'm on their level and they stifle me. So you're on the level of people who stifle people, which means you're in the game and business of stifling people. You see how you just claimed that you stifle people, including yourself? Did you even see that? Probably not. I am on their level and they stifle people. So you're on the level of people who stifle people. You see? And you claimed all that. Now, the negative side is I claim that I'm on the level and I am on that level. The positive side is you admitted it. That is the beginning of freedom. So then you can launch off from there. Okay, so what do you prefer? But the point is, this is why women who require Because most women don't require. It's like, well, we'll see. I can't. It's the difference between the women who require 5-star accommodations and the women that's like, well, the Sheraton is enough. We got a bed. You know what I mean? We can get it. Neither one is right or wrong. It's what do you require? Because somebody is buying the Ritz-Carlton. Clearly, they've been around for decades. Somebody is at the Ritz, which is not the Ritz-Carlton, the Ritz in Paris, and somebody paying last time I checked, you could get one of their premium suites and pay like $100,000. Okay, depending on how long you say. Somebody paying for it. Maybe not you, but somebody paying for it. What is the standard that you require? Because you're going to get that. For those of you who require high level, you can see that I'm a master. Listen, a lot of women don't even see, and this is the difference between normal and when you are of the substance, you can see it. That's the whole fucking point. You're looking for your sameness, consciously and unconsciously. I do not strictly work with black women. You are welcome if you are what I've described here and you're ready to work at a high level. You're welcome to go to the link in my bio and complete the application. So you see what I mean here about one, sustainable wealth, and I'm going to get to the point about unleashing your voice more, but do you see what I mean about why those with the requirement require high-level mentorship? Because we don't even know that we don't know. We don't know that we're doing these things, and we move slow. When you're younger, you feel like you got all this time, but suddenly you wake up and you're 45 and you're like, bitch, I don't have any more time to waste. You see what I mean? I don't have all this. I'm going to move slow and I'm going to take my time. Okay, go ahead. Right? And then it's like something that you could do in 3 months. You end up taking 7 years. Look, if that's fine with you, go ahead and go. That's what the wealthy are paying for. When I say wealthy, I'm not even talking about money. I mean wealthy in mind. Because do you know that? I'll speak from my experience. And let me link this also to the 2 points I said I was making in telling the story about that woman who became a private client. One, the necessity of coaching and mentorship to create a sustainably wealthy mind and really being in the community of that. One, but the second part was unleashing your voice and what that's going to look like, how that's going to alter your life, and what's required of you on the inside to do that. And then speaking to the woman who I said I'm speaking to here. So, in the vein of you don't know what you don't know, and there's always going to be something that you don't know what you don't know about. I mean, we don't know about, running a school in Africa, right? There's plenty that we don't know. So this is not about knowing everything. This is about being in intimate relationship with your unconscious mind, meaning the darkness of you, okay? And when you are sincere, and you cannot fake sincerity, some people do a good job of it, but I mean where you need to be able to sleep with yourself, look at yourself, and be at harmony with yourself. And when you are faking sincerity, you are crossing your own self, okay? So when you are sincere about unleashing your authentic voice in your content online, in your major vision, your sincere vision, in your relationship with all the people in your life, your mom, your lover, boyfriend, husband, your children, and you recognize that there's so much about you, there's parts you recognize and parts you don't recognize, sort of like how Day didn't even recognize that she was admitting that she's on the frequency of stifling people, including herself, okay? She was not aware of that. She was aware of what she said, right? So that was a very good example. Day, thank you for being engaging and commenting and allowing yourself to be an example. All of us got a chance to watch an example of what it looks like for a woman to be in realization of something while at the same time not being in realization of something and not realizing that she doesn't know it. That's what that did for all of us. It was a gift. So thank you. This right here is where we start to target and working in our mentorship together. So you go from where you are today, whatever that looks like, right? Like we see where day is, right? Or wherever is your current reality. Going in circles, struggling with whatever, okay? You've been working on, how many of you have been healing something for 7 years? Girl, I've been healing this for the last 12 years. Girl, I've been working on this for the last 3 years, girl. Anybody here? How many of you are working with clients like that? They come to you. I remember I had a client one time, she had been seeing a therapist for 20 years. She was in her 60s when she came to me. Seeing a therapist for 20 years. This is what I mean when I say what works for normal people does not work for us. Normal people, therapy works just fine. All the basic stuff of humanity works for them. For women like us who were born as bright lights, we were born as black sheep. We have never fit in. We've always thought very differently. Everything that I said at the beginning of this live stream, we have never fit in. We have always been too much to normal people. We have always been high sex energy and we tamped it down. We've always been a light and bright and vivacious and we tamped it down because we were around mama, daddy, friends, family, pastor, men. How many of you have had boyfriends and husbands and lovers and other men in your life tell you that they were afraid of your power? Normal women are not hearing that. How many of you have had men in your life tell you they're afraid of your power? So this is the level of, why do I always get upset about this? Because I'm always like, if you around, bitch, why you not out the closet? Like, why? What's going on? Can somebody please answer me this? I want to know what's going on here. Is there a certain work for me to do? Is there a certain message, a new message for me to bring forward? I want y'all to put yourself in my shoes for a little while. I've been on the internet for 12 years. You may just be seeing my face for the first time, or maybe you've just started looking at my content in the last 6 months. I have been online for 12 years. We can see the if you go look at, I've been on this progression for years. Why are we not out? And I know, I'm doing my part. I'm out. I'm here. Why are there not more of us? Is this just what it's going to be for a little bit longer or a lot longer? And because that point that I just got to right there, I don't know if y'all saw it, caught it. And not many times I have and I just caught it right there. So what about a witch hunt? I'm here. Just be quiet. No. And this is why transformation is important. Okay, I get that. The risk is massive. Yeah. It's a huge overhaul of identity. Yes, very true. And it's a return to who you've always been. So you're not, it's not like you're becoming somebody else. It's really a return to who you've always been, but in an adult body versus a 9-year-old body. The men are jealous. So yeah, that's another one, that's exactly why my products is this. I think a lot of us are just waking up. Okay. That's what, but I've been having these conversations with us for years, you ladies. This is not, I know y'all new to me, but I've been having these conversations with women for years. This whole we just waking up, they were saying that 3 years ago. This is nothing. And if I can do it, y'all can do it. You learn how to navigate. But the chief thing, I don't know, have any of you either had a coach or mentor or seen content online about how to reconcile your fear of being killed? Like truly, where your whole body is in okayness with somebody coming into your house and killing you. Because that's a big part of it right there. Women are afraid. I had a woman straight up tell me she was afraid of being kidnapped. Right? So there's a lot of fear of being kidnapped, raped, killed, assaulted. A black man DM'd me yesterday. First of all, he came onto my live stream here on TikTok maybe like 3-4 days ago. And he didn't like what I was saying about love and relationships and being honest and authentic in relationships. Then he followed me. Again, this was 3-4 days ago. He came onto my live stream. Then he followed me. Then he came onto a video that's currently pinned to the top of my page. And was saying, I can't remember everything, but it's there, still there. And he commented like 3 different comments about he's never turned his back on black women. Black women have turned their back on him, that all of his children are by jet black women. Then he DMs me yesterday, and I took a screenshot of it. Violent. I can't even remember everything, but the one thing that stood out, because it was like 3 or 4 messages he sent, and I screenshotted it, but the one that stands out to me says something like, a real alpha male, he used the words alpha male, a real alpha male would come and take that pussy. A real alpha male would come and take that pussy. See, he don't know, and this is what y'all need to know. This is why I emphasize 2 things if you have not heard me because you're new here. 1, reconciling your fear of death. And 2, waking up your true desire because it's hot. When you turn on your full power, you are receptive to rape. I know that's strong language. I know that's intense. You are receptive to it because let me tell you, when you turn all the way on, Indigo, are you saying it's a true thing that a real alpha male will come and take that pussy? Is that what you're saying? When you turn all the way on, you understand that, High Priestess? Tell me how you receive that. It's counterintuitive. The average male doesn't get it. It's counterintuitive. When you turn all the way on, here's the thing. When a woman truly doesn't fear rape, violence of any kind, assault, etc., there's nothing left to rape. This is such a consciousness energy game. You cannot fake this. You cannot try to do this. You cannot put it on. It is work that you do where it's you drenched in it. You're embodied. And when you walk around, it emanates. So that hunger that's in men who are into that, it's like it literally grabs the hunger out of them. And what they really want is your love and approval. This is the trick of how the Roman Catholic Church came in and tore at women's power, because and this is the power that we're dealing in when we work one-on-one in your transformation. And that's why it's going to be, at minimum, we're going to work together for 6 months, preferably for a year. We're going to be working together. The reason why they stripped away women's power, they defiled it, they made you scared of it, they made you lock down in your body and become a neck up woman, is because when you really get to this level of power that I'm talking about, all of the shit that we mad about in the world will not happen. We won't need a 4B. We won't need to decenter men. All of the anger and rage and all of the shit that women doing now, going off on a mad, you're going to be in such a power that men are going to line themselves up to get your approval. but we are so possessed by anger, so possessed by fatigue, so possessed by trauma, so possessed by upset and disdain and fear of this and memories of that, and the niggas ain't shit, and decenter men, and my daddy said this, and he left me with this, and he betrayed me this, and all these baby daddies, and niggas is killing women every 5. We're so possessed by that. We're so distracted by that, which is what they want us to be, that we're forgetting that we are the power and have been all along. So when you reconcile your fear of being raped, killed, lynched, hung, assaulted, persecuted, hated, bullied, reconcile the fear of that and open up yourself and own all energies, which is why Shadow Gold exists. And you truly own all energies to where you no longer fear rape and there's nothing left to rape. Any men that come into your fucking circumference, any of them, the ones who hate, the ones who love, the ones who like to throw bricks at women, all of them, they will be hit by the fullness of you. And this takes work, which is why I said if we're truly going to work together, a minimum of 1 year, if you're sincere about transformation with me. When you do this level of work, the men who are of that, who come into your circumference, that will zap out of them. And they will be touched by you, and they will want, consciously or unconsciously, your love and approval. This is who we are. This is who we actually are. And we're even afraid of that in ourselves because it's a responsibility. Can you see yourself as this woman walking around, and how does that feel? How does that feel to be so self-possessed that you walk around and people's way of being is altered by your presence in the way where they want to serve, they want to be good and approved of by you? And I know that we're so angry at men of old for creating all this confusion and fog around women's power and women's sexual energy. And for those of you who are aware of the Malleus Maleficarum that, you know, those 2 German monks in the Roman Catholic Church created millennia ago, centuries ago, not millennia, but centuries ago, and just like all the work that has been done to defile the divine feminine, all the efforts, all the killing and the confusion and the using religion and all the things. Although I know there's a lot of anger and pain and ancestral memory around it, behind it all is the awareness of how powerful it all is. This is the power I'm working to return you to, particularly for those of you who were born a bright light. You are a grave threat. This is why whoever that was who said that it's a massive overhaul, that's energetically is what you're really referring to. Because when you are of this particular frequency, bloodline, essence, you have the seed in you to create such a ripple effect in the world that the world has yet to see. So when you particularly, you were born different, you were born a bright light, you were born with a voice, you were born this sort of Jesus-like, right? As a woman, man and woman, born this Jesus-like figure. You have the possibility, you have the seed, you have the capability to really penetrate the fog that keeps humanity in this sort of sunken consciousness of division and confusion and folks not knowing who they are. And yet, when you do this work that I'm talking about, it's work. And it's the only thing that's going to please you before you die. You can go ahead and make 7 figures selling eyelash extensions and, all the things. Lenny, if you asking me how do I know, it's not for you. It's not for you. You should leave. Or if you happy with the crumbs, you can stay. The women who know, know. The men who know. Okay? But I want y'all to see that that's an example. It's a great way to example of the delineation. Women who know. Women who don't know ask questions like, but how do you know? Prove it to me. Say something that makes sense to me so I can believe it. When you know, you don't need me to explain nothing because you already know. That is a very good example with Lenny being like, but how do you know? That's a really good example to show the distinction, the delineation between those of you who know because you always have known, because you are this essence that I'm talking about, versus the rest, the normal women. It doesn't even take a lot of listening, Cynthia. It doesn't take a lot of listening because of what I just said. Like Falion, who said amen. She knows what I'm talking about. And the women who know. Yeah, it's not about being wrong. It's about not knowing because you are not of this essence that I'm talking about. That's why I say you cannot fake this stuff. You either are or you aren't. You can't earn your way into being this essence. You don't work your way. And because the world is saturated and the consciousness of humanity has been so saturated with normalness to get all of us to comply and to be normal, that women like us who were born black sheep, born bright lights, have always been different, as I talked about earlier, we've absorbed so much of this. We've internalized so much of this and have tried to make ourselves small and make ourselves like them and make ourselves want what they want and make ourselves fit, right? Because the responsibility and the power to actually erect who you are and become the magnet and to essentially build the world requires the massive overhaul. Whoever said that here earlier, that said it requires a massive overhaul. What it actually requires is a returning to who you've always been, but you quieted her and made her small to fit in with normal people who wanted normal things, to live a normal, good life. Get married, get a house in the suburbs, have kids, become grandparents, do a little bit of traveling, and here, there's nothing wrong with those things. It's not about that's wrong. It's just about when you're of this essence, your soul craves very particular things. One is authentic expression. It demands it because it's looking for its world to be erected here on planet Earth, which is a responsibility, which requires power, which requires authenticity. So if you know that I'm the one to mentor you for the next year and unleashing your voice and working with you at the deepest and highest levels, getting into the intimacy and the intricacies of you, your mind, your business, if you have products and services you're looking to sell, if you have a message, a very clear message you know that you are to bring forward, if you're ready to become consistent, sustainably wealthy, inside and out, if you're ready for high-level travel to be your norm, if you're ready to build that world that is yours, starting where you are right now today, and investing the effort and time to transform, to come into being the woman who can hold the responsibility and the power of who you really are. And we're taking our time. I don't mean in this unnecessarily slow, no. We're dealing for real in what's going on with you. We're not taking any shortcuts. We're not faking anything. We're not trying to make it happen. We're going straight like a laser down into what the real thing is with you. So this is one-on-one, you and I, for 1 year minimum. I am, depending on your situation, I am willing to do a 6-month situation, but we would have to look at what's really going on with you. And so when you fill out the application, again, if you are unsure, if you're confused, I don't know, don't fill out the application. Only fill out the application if you know that I'm the one to coach and mentor you, and if you are prepared to invest between $10,000 and $100,000 or more for you and I to work together from 6 months to a year or more. Because maybe it's a good idea for us to work together for 18 months. So when you fill out the application, please describe. There's certain questions in there that are asking for you to be clear and to describe, because I want to know your situation as much as possible, because it may not be a good fit. You're welcome, Day. All right. So are there any questions? I'm feeling pretty complete. Are there any questions or anything anybody here would like for me to elaborate on? I am going to get me a new chestnut lip pencil by MAC. That's on my agenda for today. I'm going to be doing some traveling next week, and so I also have a question about makeup. Who here has experience with setting powder? Like, anybody here experienced with the Laura Mercier setting powder? And have you tried other setting powders and you have a strong recommendation for setting powders? Because I bought that TikTok Shop setting powder, the OS one. I'm new to setting powders. This is my first setting powder. I like it, but I was like, I wonder about that Laura Mercier. So let me know if anybody here has specifically strong recommendations about setting powder. Cynthia, I like it, but I don't have anything else to compare it to either, right? So I wonder if, because with makeup, sometimes price really matters. Oftentimes price matters. So if that's true, then maybe I like Laura Mercier better. And I've had my eye on Laura Mercier, so I'm like, I wonder if anybody here uses Laura Mercier or something more pricey. Fenty has wonderful shades of setting powder. Because I was wondering about that peach. They had a peach translucent. I was like, peach? Oh, Huda, huh? My sister likes Huda. I've never had any of their products. No questions, huh? I'll wait about 1 more minute. Good questions. Please don't ask me. Please ask me if you feel like it's a good question or it's an important question to you. Truly important. Thoughtful. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Cynthia. I look forward to seeing your face, Tula. Assuming it's a good fit, and I'm saying this to Tula, I think Cynthia says she's going to be there, and whoever else here who plans to be at Womanhood Initiation tomorrow. Assuming it's a good fit, make sure you're prepared to invest $99 a month, and if you're not prepared to invest $99 a month, please do not show up tomorrow, okay? Because I'm going to ask everybody that at the beginning of initiation anyway, so if you're a no, then it's not a good idea for you to come. It can be a symptom of many things. It really just depends on what's going on with you. So I would have questions about When do you feel unsafe? Why do you feel unsafe? Have you always felt like this? What is happening in your life that triggers you feeling unsafe? So it's a personal experience. Speak more on what? I'll say this for those of you who, because I saw somebody here said something about affordability. So I have wanted to help more women for a while. And I was waiting because I was like, okay, so how do I do this really? Because it's energy, it's effort, it's time. And I'm not interested necessarily in catering to people who don't have money, because we got to make money, okay? And I was like, okay, so how do we help more women in an affordable way? And that's how the woman community even came about, okay? My woman community is $99 a month. The purpose of the Womanhood Initiation is to meet the right women who are a good fit for the woman community, for them to be able to get coaching and mentorship from me at an affordable rate, okay? So for those of you who are like, well, I can't afford to work with you one-on-one, or, whatever reason you have around affordability, and $99 a month works for you, and you want to be able to be coached, mentored by me, the woman community is your next best thing. And Falayan, if you're still here, she's a member. She can share with you her experience. It's been exquisite. And you have the community, okay? It's not a might as well. I want you to, Cynthia, this is a great learning opportunity. Thank you for being an example for us. So remember I said earlier about the importance of language? And so many of us are so unwittingly sloppy with our language. We don't realize how sloppy we are with our language, right? And it's okay, we learn. And so, but oftentimes when we hear other people say it, we can catch it. Right? When we say it, sometimes we don't catch it, but when we hear other people say it, we can catch it. So when I just said it to you, might as well, you caught it, right? But that's exactly what you said. But see, I want y'all to understand, this is why people get mentors, because there's just so much blind spots, and we don't realize why we keep looping, why we can't make the progress. It's because it's just all this unconscious stuff going on. So it's not a might as well. It's I'm taking my power seriously, or whatever's true for you, right? I'm taking unleashing my voice seriously. I'm changing my pattern. I'm growing up. I'm no longer allowing myself to play small. I'm now requiring community of women who see me. I'm done wasting time. I'm done feeling sorry for myself, self-pity, loathing. I'm going to play a bigger game now. I'm committed to playing a bigger game. I'm committed to learning. Versus, might as well, shit, I spent $25 a week on nothing anyway, might as well. Almost like you just throwing $99 at it. I don't want you coming with that energy. The women, I don't deserve that. The women in the community don't deserve that. Do you want me to have a bunch of women coming in with that energy? No. Well, might as well. We're dealing in power over here. Power is a responsibility. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. I so look forward to those of you who I get a chance to meet tomorrow at Womanhood Initiation. If you are new here and you are feeling resonant with Womanhood Initiation and coming into the woman community, you can go to the link in my bio, click it. There are 6 options. You want to click the one that says Womanhood Initiation. It's happening tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific. You need to be available for 1 hour. You need to be willing to be on camera, on Zoom, and present for 1 hour, starting on time. You need to be on time at 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. So you can go, if you're not already registered, you can go to the link in my bio and register for that. For Lion, if you're still here and you'd like to participate, I would love to see your face tomorrow. And the women can also have an opportunity to meet you and hear your experience as a community member. And yeah, it's all good, Day. Thank you for your engagement. For those of you who engaged, thank you so much. In case you missed what, Cynthia? You all take good care of yourselves. Have a great weekend.